I've spent the last few months navigating my mother's health crisis from Seattle while my sister handles everything on the ground in New York. And somewhere in the middle of it all, I started having conversations with women and men about how our mothers shaped us, how we show up, what we carry, and what we've had to unlearn. What she taught me is a series of honest conversations about that influence. Good, bad, complicated, and everything in between. Because whether your mother was your greatest champion, your biggest challenge, or somewhere in the middle, she left a mark. And that mark is still showing up in your life today. I'm Jill Consor Beck, founder of Go Long. Let's get into it. But first, I want to introduce today's guest, Devin Fuller. And Devin, I'd love for you to tell us about yourself.
My name's Devin. I am the events and operations manager at Enrich, which is a private network. I'm from the Bay Area. I love cooking. I love surfing. I love the outdoors.
Okay, great. Yes, we both talk about our love of cooking. When you think about how your mother influenced who you are today, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
My mom, so she's a therapist. She is extremely empathetic and extremely sensitive, like almost to her fault. Like it's hard for her to live in the world sometimes because she is so like perceptive of people's feelings and she's so sensitive herself. And I think it made me also like a caring, sensitive person.
Do you feel that, so it's carried over to you. What has been the positives of that, and what has been, say, the not so positives of that?
Positives, I think it makes me have deeper relationships with others, like deeper friendships. Like I genuinely like want that connection with other people, and I want to be a kind person even in small interactions. What has made it hard is like, it can make you take things personally that aren't personal. I think, in the work world, like being a go-getter, you can't be like so worried about what other people think and how you make them feel. And so that can be challenging.
Well, you work in hospitality, right? Like you're the community events manager at Enrich, but you were in what I would call more traditional hospitality before this. And so how did that translate into, the type of service experience? I mean, you worked at some pretty high-end places.
Yeah, I was at a 3 Michelin starred restaurant for a few years. And I've worked everywhere from like Hawaiian plate lunch places to like barista, bartender, like the whole gamut. I genuinely care about people's experience. And I think a lot of people who work in the service industry, like they clock in, clock out. They don't worry about it. But I genuinely like worry about every interaction that I have, which is like not always easy, but it makes it rewarding. Like when someone has a really good experience, like we would have people come into the fancy restaurant that I worked at where it's like, this is something they've been saving for years. And it's like a once in a lifetime experience for them. And it's like their 10-year anniversary. And they're just so in awe of every little thing that you do. And that makes it very rewarding. It also makes it hard because when you make a mistake and someone doesn't have a perfect experience, you kind of beat yourself up over it.
How does that carry over into your personal life?
Like being a mom myself or...
Yeah, being a mom, even your relationships or being a daughter. How does that, when someone doesn't have that perfect experience?
Yeah.
Whatever you've envisioned.
Yeah, I think it's a constant, like needing to tell myself to chill out, that not everything has to be perfect all the time, and that life doesn't really work that way. So I would say that is like, especially with becoming a mom, like I have a 1.5-year-old and you have to learn that like you can't make everything perfect. You can't be perfect all the time. I would say that's how it carries over.
Do you think your mom tried to model being perfect?
She's like that too. She wants to do a good job. She wants people to like her.
So how did she model that for you?
Well, she was an incredibly caring mom. Like I never have any doubts about or she still is. I never have any doubts about how much she loves me, and she would go to the end of the world for me. But, she also is super sensitive, and so when you're a teenager and you're just, like, a big jerk because 'cause you're a teenager, like, it would really rip her up inside, and, like, I still think like, things I said when I was, like, 13 probably bothers her. So yeah, that's probably I mean, it's like even in her interactions at the grocery store with the teller, like I know that she would think about how that went. So it's kind of how she modeled it for me.
So, what did you watch your mom carry that no one acknowledged, right? Because right now people talk a lot more about trade offs and choices that they've made, right? Maybe they didn't talk about it so much when your mom was momming, right?
Yeah.
Not that she's not momming now, but in the more of the phase that you're in now. What do you think that she carried that no one really talked about?
Yeah. So you're like literally gonna make me cry. My
Oh,
mom worked full time. Um and we had dinner, like a nice home cooked meal every single night. And like that she would, like, I'm sure, wake up in the morning and start dinner, and I don't even understand now that I'm trying to do it, like, how she did it before, like, delivery apps, and, like, we use all of these things, and it's hard still. And before all of that, I mean, my dad helped too. My dad would make the lunches and stuff like that, but just she took on, like, the bulk of all the home organizing and, like, she planned all the meals, like, my mom cooked all the meals for dinner and really nice, healthy, like, home-cooked meals, and dinner was like we sat down as a family every night. We didn't have the TV on. It was, like, a sacred thing. That's something I wanna, like, carry on as well, and, I think just, like, working full-time and having, like, basically a full-time job of managing our house, like, we probably didn't say like, could never say thank you enough for that.
you think about like dinner without phones, devices. I
Exactly.
mean, or going back, TV. Yeah, it's a different world, right? Like harkens
Exactly.
back to a different era. Did she ever ask for help?
No, like, we didn't my dad did all the dishes, but we were not like a we have chores family. Like,
Mhm.
I was frankly, like, pretty spoiled. Like, my dad did the laundry, my mom did all the cooking, like, she did not ever ask for anything from me.
Do you think she had like a friend group that she talked to? Like, did she ever go out with her friends? Like when she was in the thick of the parenting?
Yeah, I remember there's this place called The Key, um, which is like a Cal Mexican restaurant walking distance from where I grew up. And every Thursday we would go with one of her best friends and they would get margaritas. So I imagine that was their like debrief time.
Yeah, yeah. What would you? I mean, sounds like you have all this affection for your mom.
Hmm.
Is there anything that you've tried to unlearn from your mom, even with all the goodness that she provided, both your parents for that matter, it sounds like, but all the goodness that she provided, is there anything that you've tried to unlearn, whether it's because it's a different time, we're talking about devices, or just different things are okay to talk about that they weren't maybe when your mom was in the same phase that you're in now of parenting?
So she would say this too, but like taking out things personally for sure. Trying to be perfect. I mean, like what I already talked about, they're good and bad. There's two sides to the coin. And then trying to like do everything yourself, I think. Like I will definitely make my kid like do the dishes. Like I was like a freeloader for too long, I think.
um, Obviously, your child's a year and a half, so very early on. Is there anything you caught yourself doing that you swore you would never do, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god, that just came out of my mouth."
Oh my God, I'm sure a thousand things. Let me think of something. There's like that phrase of I was the best mom until I became a parent, you know? where you think like, oh, I won't let them sleep in the bed with me, or I won't like when they're whining, I'm not going to give them what they want because then they'll just keep whining. And then like they're whining and you are like, please make this stop. So you just like one thing is like with feeding him where they tell you not to like act as like a short order cook and just like try and get them anything that they want. Like I am like, he's like my worst customer ever. And I'm just like like his, you know, servant. Like I am like running around the kitchen like, you want cheese? You want bread? You want butter? Oh, sure. Like, let me heat that up for you. Like, let me heat it up for you again. No problem. So I would say that's probably like, I am a bit more of like, yeah, I said I was spoiled growing up, like, and that I'm going to make him do the dishes, but like, ask me again in 5 years. Like, I'm probably going to be like doing it all for him.
So if you think of your worst client experience, guest experience at your 3-star Michelin restaurant, where does your son rank?
Oh my goodness. I mean, he's just extremely demanding. Extremely. Never says thank you. He doesn't know how yet. But yeah, he's definitely the cutest, so he
All
makes
right,
up for
well,
it.
obviously.
Yeah.
Are there any other trade-offs that you think that your mom made so that this way she could provide that like very constant family dinner experience and being supportive of you? I'm guessing you participated in activities growing up, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming she was like a big part of that. What trade-offs do you think she made that maybe she never discussed? Or maybe she did discuss them with you?
Yeah, she is like um she's good at like being frugal. And I think that was probably, I went to private school and like she kind of gave all of her extras to her kids.
Hmm.
And so that I'm sure that was a huge trade-off. She was not like going to fancy, we would go camping and stuff like that. So, or she wasn't buying like fancy clothes or anything. And I think that was probably like one trade-off that she made was like being a bit more frugal with herself. Um, Another one being like she's a big swimmer and now she still swims a mile 3 times a week. I don't think she swam like the whole time that I was a kid. Like I don't remember her swimming at all, maybe every once in a while. So I'm sure to like get dinner on the table and work full time, you're not like taking time to exercise. And now that, she's retired and everything, she goes swimming all the time. So just like certain things for herself that, she didn't like treat herself to these things.
When do you think that inflection point was where she felt comfortable to like get in the pool, as an example?
Probably when we were like in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like when we were out of the house.
and she felt like, yeah, it's okay. I could do this.
Yeah, which is not something I've carried on. Like I like to run. I've been like,
Mhm.
I need to still do this for myself, you
Yeah, I
know?
was going to ask you, like, is that something, how do you internalize that now for yourself in terms of making time for me time?
Yeah. I think it's also like a generational thing. Like, the self-care thing is more popular amongst millennials than my parents' generation. So, like, I have made it a priority for myself to go exercise during the week, which means maybe I order in instead of making like a home cooked meal that night. So,
Yeah, and that's a trade-off that you'd make as you need to make it. You're good with that.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think that there's more of that self-care awareness that our parents didn't have. And I mean, I'm Gen X, and I would say for the first part of my career, like self-care was not a thing. But I think it's great that, if anything, what I tell my clients is that you're modeling behavior for your son,
Totally.
right? That
Yeah.
mommy exercises. This is just part of what she does.
Totally.
Do
And
you
it
have,
makes me like show up better. It makes me happier and more present, you know?
yeah, that's the next thing I was going to ask. Like, do you feel when I don't have kids, but I know that when I don't exercise for a couple of days, I start to get not good to be around,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Do you notice how it helps you show up better to kind of deal with your most demanding customer? Um,
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, my husband will be like, "Go on a run. You're going on a run today." Like when I
mhm.
start getting less pleasant. So like especially in the early days of postpartum, like, it just helps you. I think it's good to have something that is like totally your own also. Like that you're not doing for anyone except for yourself.
What do you want people to take away from your story, particularly anyone who might be navigating something similar right now in terms of figuring out self-care, early stage of motherhood, dealing with a full-time job? What would you offer?
I guess like just coming out of the first year of postpartum, like I would want someone to know that like it takes just time to figure it out because it is extremely hard and you're going through so much. Like your identity completely shifts. You have crazy hormones. Your like anxiety is through the roof. All this stuff has changed. And like it feels like, how in the world am I going to go to work? And if that's not important to you and you can afford it, like great. But if you want to go back to work, like it is very possible. It's just, it takes like adjustment. And like my mom worked my whole life. I never had any bad feelings about it. Like I really like, she got her PhD when I was like 6 years old. And I remember her ceremony. Like I always was like proud of my mom. And so I had that like modeled to me. And I think that's like something I'm grateful for. But it was really hard for the first year. Like it was really hard. And so I think it's just like knowing that it's going to be hard for a year and then you'll feel better.
Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister.
So your mom was doing the PhD with two kids,
Yeah.
under the age of 10.
Yeah.
You said you were 6. How old your sister? What's the age gap?
It's 5.5 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
So, yeah.
yeah, that's a lot. So I
I
guess it
might have
also,
been even younger. I can't remember. I might have been like 4.
we're not going to fact check that. Don't worry.
Yeah. But I know
Uh,
we were both really young.
yeah. No, that's incredibly impressive because you
Yeah.
couldn't do remote work, remote PhD stuff.
No, she did
So
it all and like still had to. I mean, I just don't understand it, but I have like so much pride in that.
before we close out, does that make it easier or harder to go easier on yourself and not hold yourself to such a high standard?
It's a good question. I definitely hold myself to like a high standard, but I don't know if it's because of that. Like, I think it made it easier for me to be like, it's okay for me to go back to work and like be driven to succeed, like because my mom had bottled that for me too.
Devin, thanks for coming on What She Taught Me. I really enjoyed this conversation and getting to know this side of you. So thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. This was like so nice. It's nice to talk about my mom. I feel like I should do it more. It's a great opportunity.
I think that everyone has relationships with mothers are never simple. And they're certainly multi-layered on a number of fronts. And I felt it was important to kind of have these conversations as I was dealing with my mom and her struggle with Parkinson's, but then
Mm.
also just talking to people about what they're dealing with their parents. So thanks for joining. As I said at the top of the show, What She Taught Me is a series of candid conversations about the influence of our mothers, good, bad, complicated, and everything in between. So with that, remember, it's your life. Go the distance. Go long.
Thanks, Jill.